All right, everybody got me? All right. As I said after the game Saturday night and after watching film, our performance was completely unacceptable. We got out-coached in every phase. We got outplayed in every phase. We got out-executed. And it was completely unacceptable and embarrassing. And everyone is being held accountable, and it starts with me. And the only thing we can do is go back to work. And our total focus is on getting this football team prepared and ready today to be able to compete at our standard for this Saturday against Texas A&M. Offensively, we had 5 turnovers and 2 missed fourth down conversions. That's 7 possessions of not getting any points. 2 of those in the red zone. It's hard to beat anybody when that happens. I thought we were too inconsistent, but we decided late in the third quarter that we were going to turn it on, and it was just a little bit too late at that point. I was proud of the fight to rally back to tie the game up, and felt at that point we were going to win the game, but we waited too late to get that done. Defensively, I thought it was a tale of 2 halves. In the first half, we gave up incredibly. We bent too much. We gave up too many key third down drive continuing plays that allowed for scoring opportunities. The defense responded in the second half, basically shutting them out all the way up to the last drive of the game, and we couldn't come up with a play, and they did, and they were able to convert a 1st and 15, and on that last drive. But as I said, the only thing we can do is go back to work, and that's what we're doing. That's everybody. That's every coach. That's our players back in here last night. And our total focus is on getting this football team prepared and equipped and ready to go for this Saturday and to respond in the way that I know they can respond. And our back's against the wall. We're going to find out a lot about ourselves in all areas. We got a tough conference team. There's always been a ball game all the way to the end over the last 6 years. Maybe back further than that. They got 5 offensive returners and 4 defensive returners, and they're very multiple in what they do. But as I say all the time, it's about how we play. It's not who we play right now, and that's where we're at with our program. So with that, I'll open up for questions.
Coach, have you identified what some of the problems have been, and is it something with the preparation throughout the week, or something that you got to self-scout yourselves and maybe figure out how you approach this week?
Well, we always self-scout ourselves each week and see if there's any tendencies, so that's part of our weekly routine that we do. The preparation last week, I thought we had a good week of preparation and practice. I thought that our guys responded, coming off of the win at Colorado State. I didn't see that, no. I did not see that coming through the preparation that we had.
Yeah, Chad, you just said it now and said after the game you're going to hold everybody accountable. Does that mean you might reassign some responsibilities within the staff? Does that mean you play more young guys to push the old guys? Does that mean you're more hands-on with certain aspects of the game planning or position groups? What does that mean, holding everybody more accountable?
Well, I think it's the performance at all levels from everyone. That's what we're talking about, and being able as a coach to get your guys to play at a very high level. That's what I mean holding coaches accountable. And holding players accountable is to get in there and to execute the plan and continue to play and play fast and play hard and take care of their preparation. We get them 20 hours a week. 3 of those count as games. And so the accountability for everybody to make sure that we're not overlooking anything or any aspect of our program or any opponent. And so it's on everybody. It's on myself included. This is a head coach all the way down to the equipment.
So, Coach, would you say it's like attention to detail that needs to get better, or what is it exactly that you change?
No,
to make sure it doesn't
I
happen?
think our attention to detail each and every week is we focus on that. That's the little things in our program that we talk about consistently and constantly. And because it's those little things that if let slide lead to big things. So that is, as I mentioned a minute ago, there was nothing in practice that I saw last week that would have led me to believe that our guys were going to, and our coaches, that we were going to come out and not perform at the level that we all felt that what we saw the snapshot in the fourth quarter to look like. There was nothing that led to that.
When you look back at the last game, between scheme, between execution of scheme, and between focus, what do you think got to your team the most, both sides of the ball?
I thought offensively we pressed. I thought that we were trying to make a 14-point play, and I thought that there were some things there, and that as we give our guys freedom, and that's part of this system, and it's what's made our system successful. Is when you see those opportunities, as we saw the week before, of hitting a few touchdowns and some one-on-one opportunities, that's the freedom. But when you don't hit those, and things happen, and now you're sitting in a longer yardage situation. I mean, it's those things happen, and but we can't press. And I thought that I saw, I thought that we felt that, or I felt that we pressed a little bit too much, especially as the game went on. And but even we battled back. It was still, I thought we pressed.
You mentioned after the game that 50 passes is too many. How much of that was having to play catch up, and how much of it, in retrospect, was just not running the ball enough, not calling enough running plays?
Well, I think it's probably a combination of both. I think that when you got in, you're down 24-7, and it's still, you got a lot of time left. You're early in the second half. You still play within the system. You still play with run the offense that you're able to run. And then as it went, and we went 3 and out right there to start the second half. And I think at that point we had to get a play. We needed points, and then we get in a little bit of passing mode at that point.
You also mentioned about Nick and about quarterback and has to play within the system. Just kind of what didn't he do that you wanted him to do as far as within the system?
Yeah, I think me as a coach have got to do a better job of preparing him for exactly what we're asking him to do, and especially 2 games into this thing with him, and so that's on me. That's completely on me. It's not on him, and just to be able to give the answers that we want in the opportunity in the time frame that he needs to take them in, and whether that's getting the ball out on the edge in a run, a fade ball on a run situation, letting him know when we expect that, when we don't expect that. And that's not on Nick. That's completely on me.
You mentioned before the game that there were some players in pregame that were kind of hamming it up and loosey-goosey, and you had to address them. What do you think led to players thinking that kind of behavior was acceptable, and what did you have to say to them before the game?
I don't. What I recall was that I just didn't feel in pregame that it was as tight as it needed to be. That hadn't been the first time I've ever felt that. That happens as a coach. You feel those things at times, and you look around and you kind of see and feel the environment, but I felt something different that I didn't feel the week before. And when we called them up at the end, before we went inside after the field goal, I addressed that right then and there, and I have no problem being completely honest with my football team on what I see and what I feel, and I said I felt like that we were too loose. We need to tighten it up, and let's get our tail in there and let's get this thing right. And as I walked in, I challenged our older guys, hey, let's lock this thing up now. And but that hasn't been the first time in many different stops. I mean, that happens as a coach. That's but you try to as when you put a performance out there like we did, you always try to search and go, what did you see it coming? Did I see it coming? And the answer was that was the one point I was like, something wasn't right there.
Where is this team mentally right now, and how do you impart upon them the significance of this loss while still, not letting them dwell on it too much going into the following week?
Well, number one, we came back in here yesterday to go to work. And from a mental standpoint, I wouldn't expect anything different than these guys to show up and respond. Their back was against the wall after the Colorado State, or after Ole Miss, and they came out and they had an incredible week of preparation. I feel like this was a huge learning experience for everyone involved and where we are in our program right now. And so I don't expect anything but for us to set our jaw and get ready to go. And your back's against the wall, and the only thing that matters is, and as I mentioned earlier, the total focus is on the people in this building and getting them prepared to be the best we can be this Saturday. And that's what it is. It's about a response right now.
Chad, obviously, Rakeem went through it last year playing his old A&M team. Nick's going to go through it, and I guess Rakeem will go through it again. And how do you expect Nick to respond? Because he was pretty broken up after the game, but he took responsibility. Just what kind of conversations have you had with him about playing the Aggies, and maybe Rakeem, and just how he'll respond? Yeah,
it really not so much about who we're playing. He was extremely disappointed. Felt that he had let his teammates down, and as I shared with him, I mean, this comes with being a quarterback. We got to pull ourselves up, and he understands that. He was back in here yesterday. His preparation in today, and he'll respond. This is, he didn't play to his standard or our standard. And if you play this game long enough, and he continues to play this game long enough, there's probably won't be the last time he doesn't play a game that he feels like is at his standard. But how you handle that and how you deal with that is what's going to define you. As what's going to define our football team, is how we handle things. The past is behind us. Saturday night's behind us. And we can't dwell on that. What we got to dwell on is the fact of how we're going to fix it, and how we're going to get back and get our mindset right and ready to go. And it started yesterday with going back to work, and Nick was one of the first guys in here ready to go.
Hey, Chad, looking back to last year's game, the defensive plan you had was successful to a large degree. What did you do in that game, generally speaking, to hold them down some?
Well, we created some turnovers. I think that was huge. And I know that Coach Chavis did a great job of mixing up some looks and bringing some pressures. I thought that we disrupted the quarterback at times and kept him guessing. But we never broke. We bent a little bit, but when we had to make some stops, we made some stops. And it was so as I've challenged all our coaches, is we're going to get in there and we're going to put the best plan together for our players that they feel confident in and they feel that they can go execute, and that's what we're doing.
What's the status this week of Colton Jackson, Traylon Burks, Buster Brown, and Jordan Jones, and anybody else I missed?
Yeah, we feel that Colton should be back. He was out there yesterday. We feel like that Traylon Burks should be back. We'll know while he wasn't out there yesterday. He should be back tomorrow. Buster will be back. He was out there yesterday. And I'm trying to think if who Jordan Jones. Jordan was not. He's still day-to-day right now. Yeah, he was not out there yesterday. He's in concussion protocol right now.
Coach, I noticed Coach Ingram was up there in his every shirt. Have you gone back to that, or has he just happened to be wearing that? And also, what's your message to the fans in terms of going through this loss also with you? And obviously, you can't reach your full potential as a program without support from them.
Sure, absolutely. No, every's part of our everyday talk, and it's. I don't know what he might have just had it on or whatever, but we talk about that word all the time in this program. And last night, message to the fans is look, it's unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable, and it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed. I hurt for our fans. I hurt for our players. I hurt for our coaches. I hurt for our program. I hurt for our university. I mean, that performance is not who we are. Now, we've got a choice now, and we can either dwell on it or we can do something about it. And if I know these players and I know these coaches and I know what they stand for, they'll do something about it, and they'll respond. And I will be totally shocked if they don't. They will respond.
Coach, there was a decommitment this weekend. What do you tell recruits and their families just about where this program is and where you're taking it, and how do you get them to believe in your future success here?
Sure. Well, I mean, it's been in this situation before, and this is as I mentioned before, it's not a 1 year in a finished product. It's not, and it is a continuation of building this program. And sometimes when you have to build it, you have to go through some really tough times. And right now is one of those times. And it's you learn from it and you move on. And as a player, as a recruit, you see opportunities. You want to come in and you want to be a part and help build something special. Great, we're excited about that. And hey, we're going to recruit the guys that want to love the Hogs and want to be here. That's really what this is about.
Hey, Chad, I think you guys have won the coin toss in every game and deferred, and the other team scored on 3 of those opening possessions, or 3 of the teams have scored on their opening possessions. Have you, with the defense struggling, have you thought about, if you win the toss, have you thought about taking the ball? Because usually, if you defer, that means you think your defense is going to get a stop and give you good field position.
Yeah, I think at this point, you look at anything and say, well, hey, can we change something up right here that would get a little bit more consistency or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I think you look at anything and everything is open right now with that.
Chad, the AD at A&M is on record as saying when this contract runs out in 24, they'd rather this series go back campus games. You have any thoughts on that and playing down there and what it means to you and how you'd feel about it if it did go back to campuses? Well,
first of all, we've got a great fan base in the Dallas area. It's a huge part of our recruiting footprint. But that is for a whole nother discussion and a whole nother day. Is my only focus right now is getting this football team ready to go down to Dallas this week and play this Saturday, and all that other stuff can be for down the road discussion.
Coach, can you assess team morale a quarter through the season, and did any guys specifically yesterday step up in terms of sending a message to other players? Well,
I thought after, I mentioned after the Colorado State game, I thought that the leadership was unbelievable on our sideline, especially late in the game. And that same leadership will continue to stand up and continue to push forward in tough times. I mean, we talked about all this prior to the season. There was going to be adversity along this way. It wasn't going to just come easy. There was going to be some hard times. And it is during those hard times that we're going to have to really lean on our guys and lean on our leadership. And so, if coming in last night is any indication of how they came in last night and started their preparation, it leads me to believe that the response that we're going to get out of our young men are going to be incredible.
Chad, I hate asking you this one because I know what a special relationship you had with Jevin Sneed, but just your thoughts on his passing.
Yeah, it was a very difficult phone call, very much thoughts and prayers go to his family, his mom and dad, and his brother and sister, and nieces and nephews. Very near and dear to our heart, and Paul and I, and our family, and Chandler McKenzie. He was like a son to us, and it was it's tough, and but my thoughts and prayers are with his family right now.
Coach, I know you encourage guys to be as much themselves as they can be, but do you condone guys like celebrating little things on the field kind of almost obnoxiously?
Well, I mean, I think we want our guys to celebrate success. We want our guys to, come in and enjoy success, enjoy winning. But we also have got to learn that once it's behind you, we got to get back to business. And I think that's where we're at in our program. It's good to celebrate victories. It's good to celebrate small wins and small things that happen, but there has to be that reset that we got to hit to get back to business. And one of the things that I talked about early in the year, in my very first of camp, was our biggest challenge is going to be how we handle success. And small success, large success, it's just, and be able to move on from it. Thanks, Coach. Thank you.